Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So it's been a couple of weeks since I was last on, and I know it's been a few. Yeah, it's been a strange couple of weeks as well. But I'm glad I'm back, and I'm glad I get to come on and have a chat with everyone and see who wants to come in and say hello. I hope everyone's keeping well. So yeah, I just needed a bit of time off last week, just last couple of weeks, just to spend some time with the family and deal with a few things with the family. But I hope everyone's good, and I hope everyone's keeping well, and life is going well with you. Don't do that. Yeah, just been out shifting a massive pile of logs. Where were you when I needed you to shift those logs, buddy? So
there's only 6 people here.
it's all right. They'll be coming in. They'll be coming in slowly. So
That's only been
CW,
60 seconds.
how are you doing? Hope you're
60
keeping
people.
well. Sarah, thanks very much. Hope you're keeping well. Hope everything's good with everyone. So I know he's growing up. He's growing up. He's growing up fast. A little bit too fast for my liking. They're all growing up a little bit too fast for my liking. Yeah. Well, wait till you see little Zaki. He's a right little menace now. So what's good with everyone? What's been going on with everyone? We've had a manic day today. So we've been just out planting our winter cabbages, planting our brassica, so planting out some of our purple sprouting broccoli for next year, some of our Savoy cabbages for next spring. Just doing that sort of thing. And as usual, I'm prepping loads of compost for next year. Hasnain on TikTok is asking, do I get my logs for free or do I pay for them? So at the moment, I've got a good line with a friend of mine who's getting me a good load of logs for free. Another user saying, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of logs for free. When I first got my log burner, I was I was buying full trees. Are you Brailevi? See, you got this stupid news headlines, and that's a stupid question. I'm afraid. But the answer, yeah, I'm not going to answer that. Well, just a quick question. Do you teach Arabic? Yes, I teach Arabic. I teach Arabic, I teach Quran, I teach Hadith as well. So yes. Margaret, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Sarah, hope everything's good with you. What's good in your world? Hope everything's good with you. You missed out the ayn in that. You put a hamza the way you spelt it. Okay, so stupid news. Yeah, you spelt it with the way you spelt it in English. The way your transliteration's so poor. You've done it with a hamza instead of doing an Arabic with an ayn. So that if you wanted to put a transliteration properly, then you'd have put in a apostrophe there. But I'm gonna block you anyway. Bye bye. And there's another racist there. Time to block you. There's loads of trolls on TikTok, I'm afraid. There is a fair few trolls on TikTok. That's one of the sad things about this. Too late to plant strawberries for next year. Now's a good time to actually plant strawberries. So if you get runners now, you should be able to, if you know someone with strawberry plants, they'll be getting loads and loads of strawberry runners for, their plants will be setting off loads and loads of runners. So you should be able to get loads of strawberry plants for free. So just go and get them planted in. One of the things that I'm doing at the moment, or I'm planning on doing in the next couple of weeks, is digging up my whole strawberry bed, getting rid of all my old plants. So anything that's over sort of 3-4 years old, getting rid of all of that. and planting in all the younger runners. So Mick W, I've managed to grow ginger. Thanks for watching your channel. Oh, Mick, you're very welcome, and I'm very happy to hear that. That's fantastic. Daniel, is that Danielle or Danielle? Oh, Danielle. So I almost called you Daniel then. Sorry about that. But yeah, Danielle, the way runners look, so you'll have your main strawberry plant, and then you'll have a little shoot that comes off it. And at the end of that shoot, you'll see a bud, right? And then that bud will send out some leaves, and it'll send out some roots. The leaves will look like a little flower appearing, and you can take that, you can pot it up. I've potted plants, so I'm not sure what I should be looking out for. So you'll see, do you know if you've ever seen a spider plant when it sends out a little runner and then it sends out a new spider plant? So what you can do, the easiest way to do it, I mean, it takes a little bit, is you have to be a bit more organized, and which is the best way to do it, but I'm never as organized to do it, is take a plant pot full of compost, just place it at the bottom of that, put that new runner in while it's still attached to the mother plant, right? And once it's established itself, sent out a few true leaves, you've already got it potted up in a plot, and just snip it, go and plant it somewhere else. But if you like me and you're not as organized as that, just let it send out its runner, let it establish itself, and then just go and end up dig it up from wherever it's planted, and then move it to where you want it. And that's the sort of thing that I always end up doing. Ford's Chicky, what do I do for a living? I do lots of things. Yeah. Will it survive in the frost? Yeah, it will survive in the frost. It'll strawberries are perennials, so they're short-lived perennials. So perennials are those plants that come back year after year. Strawberries are those plants that will come back sort of, they're good for about 3 or 4 years. They produce okay in the first year, good in the second and third year, and they start to decline after the fourth year. So the main plant, so after the fourth, definitely after the fifth year, is pull the main plant up, bin that, and use the baby runners that it sends off. And if you ever get strawberries established, they can be like a weed, and they'll spread everywhere. So I started off with about 16 plants. Now I've got the length of my garden on one side. It's probably about 2 foot by about 18 foot distance that I've got a nice patch of strawberries just from starting with a couple of plants. But you're very welcome, absolutely. Yeah. So Govinda disco dancer. Which logs are best to burn? Okay, so when you come to burning logs, there's a lot of good burns. I mean, hardwood is obviously the best. It's a lot more effort into process it as well. So wood like oak is quite strong, but it takes a lot of effort to get it to light. So what I tend to do is I have a mix of hardwood and softwood, and start off with a softwood fire that gets off going really, you know, it sets off really easy, it lights really fast, and then put on your hardwood, a lot harder to burn kind of woods, logs on there, and then that'll give you a good amount of heat. Can you enroll in my class? You can. We're on holidays at the moment. My email address is in the thing. You can message us and let me know what you want to enroll in, and then we'll take it from there. Laminates are good for burning. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you definitely want to avoid that sort of thing in your log burner, especially in the house. But yeah, if that's your sort of thing, then fair enough. So my sweet stallion fish keeping, how are you doing, man? I hope you're keeping well. Sam Arja, hope you're keeping well. My sweet corn seems to be drying out. Do I leave the plant as it is because the sweet corn doesn't look ready to be picked? Has it got enough water? Make sure that there's no borers that are damaging the roots, and the roots are still intact. The thing about sweet corn is it's a grass and it wants a lot of nitrogen. If you haven't already fed it with nitrogen, give it a good dose of chicken manure pellets or something, water it with bloody water, or use some fish guts or something to give it a good hit of nitrogen. Or if you're using comfrey, if you're using dandelion tea or nettle tea or something like that, that'll give it a good hit of nitrogen. Just make sure you have a good look around the roots and make sure that the roots are solid and they're firm and they're in place. What do I teach? At the moment, I'm teaching. I teach Islamic studies, but I'm also teaching a course with Elaine Ingham. So if you know Elaine Ingham, I'm on her latest permaculture course. So I'm on that at the moment as well. So we just finished filming another few modules for that yesterday. That just needs to be edited and passed to her for submission. Do I leave the plant as it is? Because, okay, I've answered that one. Joan, how are you? Thanks very much for coming in. Good to see you. Does it matter how much the strawberry mother plant is? No, it doesn't. As soon as you've got runners off it, you're good to go. You're only bothered about the runners. But after sort of 4, 5, 50-year plants, get rid of them. Because once they start getting weak like that, they can start getting disease infected, susceptible to disease and stuff as well. So you want to get rid of them. Am I from Birmingham? No, I'm not from Birmingham. Can't you tell by the accent? I'm nowhere near there, man. Abu Gadot, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hope you're keeping well. Thanks very much for coming in. Thanks for that. It's in a self-watering pot. Maybe need to add more nitrogen. That might be a thing. Also, do you know how big is your self-watering pot? Because they are hungry plants and they get quite big plants as well. So make sure that you've got plenty of medium. If you're trying hydroponic system, I don't know. I'm not into hydroponics, and I wouldn't know a great deal about it. I mean, I've tried them in a sort of growing them in my stream before. They've grown well, but because I can't get the grid formation, I never really got any. They produce really good plants, but I didn't get any good sweet corn because I can't get the grid formation to get fertilized. Do I sell hodu? No, I don't really. I'm trying electric culture at the minute down my allotment. Any thoughts? See, there's a couple of people who have mentioned this. I'll be honest with you, I don't know masses about it. I've heard the name of it. There's one of my viewers. She was talking to me about it. She did a video on it, and I wanted to go and I started watching it, but I never got around to finishing it. I need to go back and check it out. So let me have a think about it. Let me see what people are actually doing. Then we'll think about revisit it next week. So sorry, I can't give you a straight answer. Di, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. I've got 2 questions for you, but I hope you're keeping well. I've had 1 large red bell pepper and 1 large green bell pepper, no other peppers. One of the things that pepper plants do is they put off, if the plant is sometimes stressed, it'll put 1 fruit on and it'll focus all its energy into that, producing that 1 fruit. And if it's not producing any more flowers at the same time, it's not going to, because it's in survival mode. You get the same thing with cucumbers, and you get the same thing with squash, and you get the same with similar things. So they put all their efforts into that 1 plant or 1 fruit, and then once they've produced that 1 fruit and that fruit's got to seed producing stage, the plant dies and forgets about producing anything else because it's done its thing for reproduction. So the thing to do with that is get that pepper off, and then hopefully it will encourage it to start producing more flowers and start producing more fruit. But peppers are really late this year. I mean, mine are very late. A lot of them, I was talking to someone on Facebook, and they'd sent me a few pictures of their plants, right? And they were just setting flowers. I'll be honest, a lot of my plants are still at the setting flower stage. Some have fruited, some were picking, Some of the green chilies we're picking, those kind of things. But some of the more nagas, they're still flowering, they're still setting fruit, so it's going to be quite a while away before we get anything from there. So it's Nikola Tesla theory on gathering ethane out of the atmosphere, remagnetized to your soil. That does sound very interesting. Ethane out there. What do you mean, ethane? It does sound interesting, but what do you mean? You're trying to get nitrogen out of the atmosphere? Is that what they're trying? Electricity out of the atmosphere? Okay. Okay. The thing is, one of the ways of magnetizing your soil really easy is making sure that the biggest things that people fail in is making sure that the pH is right. Most soils are naturally abundant with calcium. Most soils, unless you're in a really depleted area, most soils will have enough calcium in there. So you don't really need to add anything to it, but your pH has to be right. And if your pH isn't right, your calcium doesn't do its thing. And you'll see a lot of people use, when calcium or pH is when pH is the actual problem, you'll see people using Epsom salts to add magnesium or to the soil and try and bump the plant up. Now, what magnesium does is it greens up the plant really quickly, but it doesn't give it the solve the root cause of the problem, which is the pH, which is why it's not getting the calcium, which is not why it's getting the magnesium, because most soils have all of that sort of in there, you see. And the key is just focusing on that pH. The way I tend to focus on a lot of my gardening is trying to stay as low tech as possible, and using deep mulches. So because what I'm trying to do is trying to build soil and trying to build ecosystems, so I can plant pretty much any plant together. I'm planting, tomatoes, which tend to love acidic soil, and I'm planting cabbages in the same bed, and I'm planting sort of leafy. I'm planting potatoes in really depleted stuff. Is there a kit that you can test pH of your soil? Yeah, I mean there are a few kits. There are a few kits available. So I mean, you'd have used them in school. So litmus paper. You'd have used universal indicator. Basically, you just get a little bit of soil in a test tube, shake it up, and then test the pH of the water once the soil's settled. So you can buy that on eBay. They're about 20 quid for a set. And normally a full set will test your nitrogen, your phosphorus, your potassium, and your pH. So you'll have your 4 key tests. So we're back to the other one. Does it work the same way for raspberries? Sarah, for raspberries, your main plant on raspberries are going to be sending out loads of runners as well. They send out runners. They're more like blackberries, so they'll send out runners underground and they'll just pop up somewhere else. So once your raspberries are established, a handful of plants will give you a nice thick bed very quickly. So you don't need to dig them up and separate them unless they're going into somewhere that you don't want them to go. So with raspberries, just leave them as they are. If they're in a place that you're happy with them being, just leave them and they'll spread there. I think I've missed a few people over on YouTube. So Flummy Trap, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. That's an interesting name. Not that big. Got 3 inside. I don't fancy moving the plants. In the past, done it and they die out with root disturbance. See, they need that stability. They need that stability, and in reality, they should be getting a lot of their nutrients from the sort of water that you're using, but they need that root structure. I think that's what, a big plant like that, unless it's in the ground, I think it'll struggle. I mean, some people have managed to grow it in pots before. I've never managed to do it. I've grown it in the stream of my pond before, but it's just grown into a big tall plant and never really produced anything. So that's one thing to bear in mind maybe for next year. Two of my large, and I mean large pepper plants, no fruit, no flowers, but all the leaves have got holes all over. What is it that no pests have been found? And see, if they've got holes on them, probably slugs or aphids. Sorry, not aphids, slugs or thingies do it as well. Caterpillars. There's tiny green caterpillars that you'll find on chili plants. They're hard to spot because they blend in so well. They're so well camouflaged. They're so difficult to spot. I mean, I have to get my kids in to help me find them. So I struggle spotting them. So yeah, they are there. They cause a lot of holes in my chili plants. So I'd watch out for those little caterpillars. Rob, how are you doing, man? I hope you're keeping well. I'm in my garden having a few beers, but no sound. Have you? Because you don't want to disturb anyone else, or you can't hear me. So what plant am I talking about? So I was talking about sweet corns, chilies, and I was talking about strawberries. So there's a few plants there I was talking about. And by the way, the heron deterrent put-ups worked a treat. Now I haven't loads of fish. Oh, I haven't lost a fish in 4 weeks. Oh, that's good news. I'm happy that your fish are safe, man. Graham, long time no see. He's been missing in action, but the man's back. Have you ever had potatoes plants producing seeds? I thought they were growing tomatoes. Did my research says it's potato seeds that you only get them off your most, I don't know if your environment is spot on, but most potato plants will produce true potato seeds. So the little tomatoes that they produce, you'll mainly get them off main crop varieties. Some of the early varieties don't produce flower, so they don't always produce true potato seed. You can plant true potato seed. It's harder because you have to harvest the seed, process the seed, plant the seed, and then you're waiting 2 years before you're getting potatoes. With the amount of effort involved, if you're going for plants, if you're growing for potatoes, just plant a potato tuber. If you're growing for novelty and you want to grow the novelty factor, then plant the true potato seed. And just have a little experiment. It'll be a fun thing to do. It is a fun thing to do, but yeah, if you want to, if you're trying to produce potatoes, it's too much effort for the amount of work involved. Let's go. Let's see who else is coming in. Graham saying hello to everyone. Noor Ali wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hope you're keeping well. I planted flat same. Flat same. What's flat same? Am I reading that right? I don't know if I'm reading that right, but tell me if I'm not. We're okay. Taib was on here earlier, said hello to everyone, and then disappeared. I'm trying to get him out of the house. I've been shifting logs this afternoon. Just before I came on, I spent the last hour shifting a load of massive chunky cherry logs. They must have been weighing at least 20-30 kilo each, heavy as anything. Massive ones. So I've been shifting them, trying to get the kids to come and help me roll them. Yeah, chance to get them out is no problem at all, man. Is Moz here? Moz isn't here. Yeah, he's probably paddleboarding. He's enjoying the summer weather. So, but the guys, out paddleboarding even when it's freezing. So I've not had any comments on TikTok for a bit, so I don't know what's going on there. Can you cut the runners off strawberries and plant that on topsoil, not attached to the mother plant? You can cut off and top. Yeah, I mean, absolutely you can. You can cut it off as soon as you've got the runner. Cut it off and plant it. That's absolutely fine. Not a problem at all. The simplest, the thing about planting it, using a pot to allow the runner to root itself in. The good thing about that is it produces a really nice root system for you to just go and plant somewhere else. I'm not organised enough, and I'm too lazy to do that sort of thing. So I tend to do what you're talking about: find where it's either run and establish itself, and then dig it up from there and move it to where I want it, or I do what you're talking about. LF plastering. Thanks for making sure that the comments are still working. Appreciate that, guys. If you won't mind hitting that like over there as well, that'd be really good. You reading this? Yeah, my reading is. The thing is, I ain't got my glasses. That's my excuse. Oh man, those injuries on Moz looked quite bad. Got a 36 baby strawberry. You're gonna have loads of strawberries next year. Do you know, when it coming up to strawberry season, right? We've got loads of the kids are going crazy with strawberries. As soon as we start getting loads of strawberries on the plant, no one will go and pick them. Do you know? Our biggest problem in our house is there's produce in the garden and no one to pick the produce and eat them. Is there? Eh?
I just don't like picking the strawberries.
You
They
don't
always
like-
have little slimy slugs on them.
Yeah. So we do have a problem with slugs on our strawberries. Sometimes we have
Not sometimes, all the time.
all the time, and yeah, they are susceptible to slugs quite badly.
Last year,
They're not all the time. We get bowls full of strawberries. The thing is, you guys don't pick them, and then they get overripe, and then they're rot. See, I grow it. You guys need to pick it and eat it.
I'm the only one who did all the raspberry picking and the gooseberries.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Graham saying hello to you.
Oh, hi. It's too hot.
Yasin's on.
That's in there.
No. Assalamu alaikum. Not hello. Oh no, you didn't say hello. So me and my young son have been watching you since COVID time. Amazing how your garden has progressed. Looks amazing. Yeah, I mean, someone put a comment on my last video, the one that I did about recycling, and the thing they asked was, have I moved house? And I was like, no, it was still the same place. So every year there's something different happening, something big to make a change. There's a greenhouse coming, and that's there's my den. So I'm gonna build you guys a treehouse, but I need to build myself a den as well when I've got some free time.
What are you gonna do in your den?
I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna put a lock on the door and no one can enter.
That's what you were supposed to do with the shed, and now everyone's junk is in there.
Yeah,
the
shed was gonna be my shed, wasn't it? No, it's just an extension of everyone else's shed.
There was a sofa at the back there.
Ron Nitzel, how are you doing, man? Long time no see. Hope everything's good with you.
Is he thinking cowboys?
No, he is the wizard gardener. Yeah, he's the gardening wizard. Put a copper band around the strawberry bands. See, I like using copper.
I remember we stuck discs in the cherry tree so the pigeons.
No, that's the cherry tree. He's talking about strawberries. But the way my strawberry bed is, it's quite a natural bed. So if you ever look, if you look at, if you've ever been to a,
Green wizard.
yeah, the green wizard. If you ever been to if you've ever been to a strawberry farm and the way they've got it, um, that's how my strawberry bed's set out. It's quite big. It's quite a big chunky bed. I use a lot of natural predators for slugs. So a lot of nematodes, a lot of ponds. I've got little micro ponds around the garden, so I get a lot of frogs and toads popping in, and they helping me to control my slugs. When she's talking about slugs getting them, she is exaggerating.
I'm not.
She thinks there's loads of slugs everywhere. I managed to still pull, bowls full of strawberries. But even when they're picked, right? Even when your dad picks them and brings them in, no one eats them. Yeah, no one eats them. They're on the counter, and no one eats them.
We went to the thingy farm. We went to Ahmad's farm, and then we picked loads of blackberries. I thought we were gonna leave half there and bring half home. And Dad just brought all of them home.
You picked loads of blackberries, and they're in the fridge, and no one's eating them.
I know.
So you need to go and eat them.
Yeah, just asked us to pick some.
So I ordered a lot of frozen dog. So loads of people are asking, no, decline, go away.
What was that?
So I ordered a lot of frozen dog food. Most of the time, the polystyrene boxes come damaged, but this time managed. You can to get one intact, even watertight might put the lottery on. Eh? I'm not with you.
No, he's trying to be like, it's so rare.
Okay. Oh, he's feeling lucky. I didn't understand that, but yeah. So I'll try and get over this. Yeah, whenever you got time, man. Whenever you got time. The kids are, yeah, they're all over the place, man. I've brought up squash plants, which only seem to flower male flowers. I've tried to water with blitz up banana skin. I did see a little female bud which died before it was even big enough to flower. You're not doing anything. Look, it's like real life, yeah.
It's the flower's fault.
The guys arrive first and just hang about. Like if you're married, you'll understand. Like I'm always waiting, and then waiting for everyone else to get ready, and then everyone else gets ready, and then you guys come out, don't you? So it's just like real life. So the male flowers will arrive, and then the plant will eventually start putting out female flowers as it gets a little bit established. So Mu'uddin wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So see LF plastering. I had to moderate myself a little bit in my tone there. A dwarf apple plant produced flowers and fruit for some strange reason. They got to a certain size and started falling off. Did I prune the leaf? I did prune the leaf to try and generate more growth to that fruit. One thing, if this plant started dropping fruit, they would have started dropping fruit around June, July time. It's famously known as the June drop. So what happens with a lot of fruit trees is they produce a load of fruit. So apples and pears is really common with. They produce loads of fruit, and then the tree decides, oh, I can't handle it. Yeah, it's got I've got too many apples on my tree to handle. Let's get rid of some apples. So yeah, it drops a load around June, July time, and then the ones that are left on the tree, it carries on with them. Yeah, that you get June drop is probably the most famous thing. Have you ever thought about vertical farming? I don't like the idea of it. I'll be honest with you, I'm very traditional in terms of I don't like industrial farming. I like proper small scale farming. The way I grow my food is I like to have my hands in the soil. I like to be touching the soil. I like to have interaction with the soil. I want my plants to be in the soil, growing, having an interaction with the soil, building that soil up through its root exudates taking nutrition from the soil, having an interaction with the mycelium in the soil, putting all that goodness into the fruit or produce, whatever I'm going to eat, and then eating that. So vertical growing is something that's just something. It's not something that I'm into, especially hydroponic towers and that sort of thing. LF plantering, put pond in my allotment. Any suggestions for plants to put in? Ragwort, I think, is a very common one that's really good. It's a good oxygenating plant. If it's big enough, then put a lily in there. It's nice for the frogs. If you can contain it, irises are good. But one of the things about irises is once they get established, they spread like wildfire. The good thing about having a plant that spreads like that is you're getting loads and loads of biomass, and then you get able to, use that, mulch it up, and throw it into the garden or onto your compost heap. I've been trying to introduce what's it called, pondweed, over into my garden for a long time, into my pond for a long time. But my goldfish eat it all, so all my goldfish, they've completely finished off the pondweed. Where have we gone? Bobby, how are you doing, man? I hope everything's good with you. Hope you're keeping well. I'm away for a short while, soon, bro. Then I'll be over. Whenever, absolutely fine, no problem at all. Is it too late for my butternut squash plants to fruit? Will it come into the end of the summer? No, it's not too late. If a lot of squash will still be flowering, still be producing fruit. So remember, squash won't die back until we get the first frost. And even if the early frosts are quite weak, a little bit of protection will get them through that. Remember, our seasons have moved, so September's very warm still. October's still quite warm. So we're getting later and later frost. So just think about it. Just relax with that. Is still selling your pickles? Absolutely, we are. They're on our website. Naga's out of stock, unfortunately, at the moment, but hopefully we'll have it back in stock in the next couple of weeks. Wouldn't calcium help with the fruit trees? It would. So, I mean, it just what I was talking about was that June drop. With June drop as well, you want it to do that. I'm not Abbas. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. In my garden box, I planted lots of tomato plants and lots of chili plants, but the tomato plants have grown big and there's no growth with my chili plants, even when I put a few in a pot. So your tomatoes will grow a lot faster than chilies. Yeah, that's just the way it is. Tomatoes will grow rapid compared to chilies, and chilies will grow at a point where now is a time when chilies will start putting on a lot more growth because it's warmed up. So we had that heat wave. We've gone through that crazy July where we had loads of rain. The weather seems to be stabilizing. Now is the time it'll put on a lot of growth. So you should see changes. But if you've got them in the same pot, then that's a bad idea simply because the tomato will be out competing the chili. Graham, absolutely, I'm with that. I'm off tonight missing words. I'm missing words. I'm missing reading people's comments. I've also courgette plant only producing one odd looking courgette. Why is it only producing one fruit? I commented on that earlier on. So if it's producing just one fruit, pick it, and that'll encourage it to produce earlier on, produce more. I covered a very similar topic with peppers at the start of the chat. Rob's back and he's got sound. Eat the goldfish. You can't eat your goldfish. I've got some nice goldfish actually. So we've got some footballs. What does that mean? What does football mean on TikTok? How do the chili seeds I gave you work out? Those pickles are to die for. I don't know what's happened with the. I think I don't know what's happened with the chilies, mate. We messed up with a lot of labeling, and a lot of our green chili. Every year it's the same thing, and our chilies are in the same spot. They're gifts. So how does that work? I've never had a football before. What does that mean? What? You can tell I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm a bit ancient when it comes to these things. Barakallah Feek, no problem. You're the man, especially with chili knowledge. Frank, I love chilies. I love chili plants. I'd definitely. Okay, that'll be nice. Yeah, someone was kicking off the other day about making loads of money on YouTube and TikTok. Do you know, I make about 20 pence a day on TikTok. Yeah, so that's how much commission TikTok pays. Bigger creators might get millions and millions of views a day, and that'll be something different. But yeah, I make about 20 pence a day. Thanks for all the advice. The polytunnel is working well for me down here in Bristol. Hope to catch you next week. Di, I'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining and chilling. Graham, we've got a lot of green chilies, right? And I don't know which one's which. Man City have scored, have they? The football might be. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who's playing or what they're playing. I've been, yeah. If you wouldn't mind hitting those likes for me, that'd be good. It's good to be back on actually, and good to start talking to people as well. Start the Premiership. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm with you. So you can tell I'm not a massive football fan in that sense. I don't mind it when the World Cup's on or the Euros are on. But yeah, I'm not a big one when it comes to normal football. Hit the like button. I'm all alone. So someone there was a comment that actually intrigued me last week. Someone was asking about my compost mixers, and because I'm doing a lot of compost prep at the moment, I thought, yeah, I'd share share a video on the compost I use, the process of composting, and what I'm using the different mixers for and how I use them. Is that the sort of thing that you'd be interested in? Harry Kane left me. Has Harry Kane left Spurs yet? What's going on with Saudi at the minute? They seem to be buying everyone. So I didn't even know they had a league. But they seem to be buying everyone. Question part: my tomato leaves are turning yellow. Why is that? So depending on the type of yellow, it could be for a number of things. I mean, if you've got a tomato plant and it's the older leaves that are getting a little bit yellow, it's just age. You know, if it's the bottom older leaves, what I tend to do with that is I just snip them off and forget about them. But with most of my tomatoes, I snip off most of the leaves anyway, so I don't worry about it. Sometimes it could be sign of getting pests, so it could be sign of getting a disease. Then it's trying to figure out what kind of disease is it. Is the yellowing with black blotches? Now, if it's got yellowing with black blotches, then potentially it could be blight. It's humid enough for blight. I haven't seen blight at the moment, which is quite good. We normally get it in about September time, and it normally hits us bad in around then. It could be due to a lack of nutrients. So it's trying to find out where that yellowing is coming from to work out what nutrients are causing it, if they are nutrients. They have the money to buy. I mean, they've got loads of money. Nick's allotment diary. Nick, how are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. Hope everything's good with you. Is it what?
Is it done?
Is it done? It's not done, but what have you done? Have you brought your dinner with you? You brought your dinner with you. Have you got me some dinner? No.
You can have one of these.
What are they? You don't know.
Try them.
Try them. You need to tell me what they are.
I don't know what they are.
I've got beautiful Butterlockia and Trinidad scorpion plants, but just attempting to bud now in conservatory. Do they take ages? You'll get ripe fruits. You'll probably get ripe fruits around the end of October. So yeah, absolutely fine. A lot of my naga still, producing flowers. That no, you eat them. You eat them.
Try one.
Try one. No, you eat them, buddy. They're setting the flowering, the setting fruit. So yeah, if they're in the conservatory, you'll be good.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about Dad. I'm talking about Dad.
I got your finger then.
Open your mouth, close your eyes.
Open your mouth and close your eyes.
And bite. How you bite this?
Okay, thank you. You eat the rest of
it.
Are
they good?
Yeah, they're good. You eat them. Tell you a nice little trick I've done this year. Planted cabbage in hanging baskets.
I even have to read my food.
Have you got a big enough hanging basket for them, or have you gone for a small variety of cabbage? My bottle gourd has produced its first female flowers. Is there a time? Is there still? Yes, there is time for still. There is time for getting bottle gourds. My bottle gourds have been really poor this year. I think it's the season that's just sent everything backwards. Because we had no rain, lots of heat early on, and then we had loads of rain, and everything just went, just got drowned. I think that set us back really bad. By this time normally we're picking bottle gourds. We've got nowhere near in sight yet. Some of ours are sort of that size, probably 4 or 5 inches. Yeah, it's just been a really bad season for them. I mean, last year was amazing. We were picking them this time we were picking a couple every week. Yeah, this year I'm just really upset about it. I mean, but other things have produced well. Some seasons, some things do well. Some they don't do as well. I think they've struggled this year. Zaki, look, Nick's saying you're growing big. He's growing, and he's getting.
I haven't even grown.
He hasn't even grown. He's saying, he's growing.
I'm still 5.
He's still 5. All right, he's still 5. He's got a cheek of a 15-year-old, haven't you? Yeah. My potatoes, 133 days old tomorrow. Congratulations. I'm planning. I'm planning to harvest. Is that okay? And yes,
I'm a face of a 15-year-old.
133 days. So what's that? About 4.5 months. Yeah. The main crop are their second earlies. If you're not going to use them right with your potatoes, just leave them in the bucket or wherever you've got them, and then pick them a little bit later. As long as they're going to be safe from slugs and they're going to be safe from wireworm, yeah, you could leave them in the ground and pick them later. That's another thing that's not done brilliant for me this year is my potatoes. There's a patch of potatoes just missing. Someone talked to you. My Scotch bonnet are ripening now, and they're my favourite. I'll leave the super hot so the rest of the family. My tomatoes are really behind. None have gone red yet. Have you got them in a greenhouse or outside? See, the thing about cabbage is they can. There's something called.
Papa, Mama, can I have your and take a big
No, I'm not taking. You need to finish your food. Don't worry about me. Brassicas can suffer from something called rocking. Right? They need to be firmed in. They need a solid base for them to be in, and they don't want to. They can suffer from windrock, and sometimes they might even need staking in. So in a hanging basket, that's one issue that you might face, and that's one issue that people with a lot of friable soil, really friable soil face, is if the cabbages or the brassicas, rock, they don't turn to produce what they're supposed to produce. So have your experiment. It'll be a nice one to see how it does. What are you doing now?
I'm so down.
You're so down. Yeah, sit there, and then there you are.
I have a t-shirt with a hoodie.
Yeah, it's cool. No, it's just my second year trying them, and I can't seem to find the right way. Come on out, next year, or even now. Come on have a look at. You're welcome to come over and have a look at our garden and see what we're doing. Because you're not far from us, are you? My Bishop's Crown chilies are massive. They're still green. See that Graham's asking what you've been doing. This year I tried to keep the sprout plant in the ground. Not a good idea to produce flowers, but doesn't look like it'll be getting sprouts off them. See, next year's plants, next year's sprouts. I just planted next year's sprouts into the ground today. So oh.
Mama, I'm telling you something.
Go on, tell them something.
We're getting a tree house.
I need to try hanging some banana skins on the plants. So I'm heading off to do Maghrib. I'm going to head off as well very shortly. But thanks for coming in, and I'll see you again. We're here every week at 8 o'clock. So yeah, I know we've been missing in action for the last couple of weeks, but we should be back on track now. So Gareth, how are you doing, man? Just finished my tea, including homegrown yellow courgettes, loads of tomatoes on the go, but still all green. Have some asparagus grown from seed, which all transplanted into the ground later. See, there's a real world buddy of mine.
Papa, Grandma help us build a treehouse.
Graham's going to help us build a treehouse. GTI gone. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So catch you later. Right, guys, I'm going to call it a night here, and I'm going to see you next Friday, same time, same space. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. There we go. Bye-bye.